Back, everybody, to Vorello Vision. I'm excited to introduce today's guest, Brandon Chang, who's doing amazing work in their industry, which is health and fitness. Thank you for joining me. For
Thanks
those
for having
who,
me.
for those who may not know you yet, can you give us a quick background introduction on who you are and what it is that you do?
Absolutely. So I'm Brandon. I'm a physiotherapist and a strength conditioning coach. I just started my own business clinic earlier this year, so very early in entrepreneurship and everything like that. But I did my master's of physio in Australia for about 2 years, and I stayed out there and worked a couple of years, and then I've been back a couple of years now since end of 2022, where I worked in a couple other gyms and clinics and stuff, and really just kind of like figuring out what I like and don't like about certain, clinics and gyms, and what I've taken and now implemented in my own business and stuff. I grew up playing I played AAA hockey growing up, played high level soccer as well and stuff like that. A lot of injuries to go with it as well, which is why I kind of got into the industry. Once you figure out how to rehab yourself, you can kind of take those skills and help other people do it better and more efficiently. So that's kind of me in a gist.
That's awesome. Thank you for that, Brandon. And we'll get into, what
Of
exactly
course.
your business is here in a little bit. I took a peek at your website and stuff. Do you guys
Yeah.
have like an app launching? I seen you guys are promoting some app.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, I'm just kind of finalizing the touches on it and everything like that. Trying to get around a big scalability problem in our industry, right? As a trainer or a clinician, you can only see so many people in a day. So
Hmm.
that caps how many, people you can see and how much you can earn. So
Yeah,
I created an app to basically supplement what I'm doing with the people that I'm working with by giving them rehab training programs and protocols. So they're not forgetting their exercises, but also, people that can just use it as an app, how to deliver other training programs at a lesser cost, making it more cost effective.
yeah.
So hopefully that's releasing the next couple of weeks or months and stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's exciting.
That'll be awesome. And for anybody watching, I'll obviously his information will be in the description, but you guys can keep updated on that app coming
Of
out.
course,
I think that'll help a lot of people in the space
absolutely.
more than they know, once it comes out, right?
Hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah.
I I'm curious. Are you from Australia then?
I'm from Toronto.
Okay, you're from Toronto. Okay, and then I know you said
Yes.
you were doing stuff in Australia.
Yeah.
How are things different there from here with like the certain, I don't know, were you doing like, I know you said you were doing like schooling over there, right?
Yeah, so I did a
Yeah.
two-year master's degree over there. It was fortunately during COVID,
Okay.
but luckily it didn't stop me from getting my program done. I could still work in the hospitals and everything like that.
Yeah.
I've always kind of done a mix of like rehab and performance stuff. So obviously as a physio doing the rehab stuff, but integrating that back into strength conditioning and like working with athletes and stuff like that. I've really tried to make an effort to kind of like try a little bit of everything. And I've worked with a lot of different demographics to the point where I feel a little bit more well-rounded
Yeah.
um, as a clinician, as a coach, where I can kind of see anyone that kind of walks through the door, which is great.
Yeah.
But I worked for another 2 years in Australia, in Sydney. And yeah, it was great because I kind of learned how they use like a slightly different system over there, and then
Right.
things are similar over here. And yeah, I was trying to make things a bit better and more efficient and providing more value to people.
Absolutely. What first drew you into this type of work other than growing up, playing sports, pretty much your whole life?
Mhm.
What keeps you going with this type of work and what really like sparks your interest with it?
I would say I just love sports in general. Like I played volleyball, basketball, done dragon boat, ultimate frisbee, rugby. Like,
Right.
I've tried everything, and honestly, I just love the community aspect of it, the team sport aspect of it. I tend to gravitate more towards like team sports
Hmm.
versus individual ones. I don't know why, but
No.
yeah, in general, like there's a lot of injuries that happen in sports, and I want to be able to give people kind of the advice that I wanted. I wish I had growing up. I had a partial ACL tear, MCL tear, torn meniscus. I've
Yeah.
torn three ligaments in my ankle, like, so luckily haven't had any surgeries or anything like that,
Right.
but I've also been able to experience these things to better relate to my patients in the rehab clinic, but also trying to get them back to a performance setting as well.
Yeah.
So honestly, just a love of sports, man, and just trying to help people get back to doing what they love.
Yeah. Love it, man. Love it. I mean, the only answer you should really give. Honestly, I asked that question to certain people and they give me this like super long answer, which is fine because certain people have different things to back up their reasoning behind things, which is perfectly
Yeah.
cool. But I love how simple and straightforward your answer was. It's like I just love sports. Like
Yeah.
I just love it. And that's the answer I would give as well. I seen that you guys have stuff for like basketball on your website.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I do. Like j just last night I played basketball for 2.5 hours.
Nice.
And then I had to still go on my 45-minute outdoor workout because I'm doing the 75 hard challenge. If you know what that is.
Nice. Of
So,
course.
but yeah,
All
I got home last
right. What
night.
day are you on?
Uh, gosh, I can't even. So the way I'm keeping a track is I started October 17th or 18th, so January 1st will be my last day. So I have no
Nice.
idea what day I'm on. Probably 16 or 17, maybe 18. I don't know.
Nice.
But
Is it
yeah.
tough?
It's been a little bit just because I do have a 2-year-old son,
Yeah.
and certain days where I'm doing, podcasts or business stuff or with my son and other, it gets hectic, but I
Of
make it
course.
work.
Nice. Good for you, man.
So
Nice.
yeah, how long has your business now been around for?
So I opened my corporation a little while ago, like knowing that this is eventually the route I was going to take. So I opened my corporation in 2023. That's
Okay.
basically how you bill people as an independent contractor, anyways.
Hmm.
But I didn't fully quit all my jobs and everything like that until early this January. Opened my business in February. So I've been independent ever since, and it's just massive learning curve, in terms of the business side, marketing, admin, how it integrates into your lifestyle. Still trying to maintain a relationship. I have a dog as well, trying to make friends, time for friends and family, but still learning as you go, and then still working on an app in the background and seeing patients at the same
Yeah.
time. Like it's a big juggling act, I'm sure, with like having a son is, like I don't even have kids yet, and I know how hard, how challenging it is. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a journey.
Yeah, for sure. Like juggling different tasks and to do things and still spending time with family, friends, or kids or dogs. I get it. It's rough, but at the same time, if we weren't getting through it, we wouldn't be here today. It's like
Exactly.
we continue, pushing. There's always that motivating factor. What is that motivating factor for you?
For me, I would say, really, I think we're all working towards financial freedom more than anything. You know what I mean? I think I found out very quickly kind of what the ceiling was of my career as just a physiotherapist or a trainer. Like I said, you just can only see so many people, you can only make so much money, and like with a challenging economy that's only getting harder and inflation's going up, you just have to find different ways to um, kind of start earning what you want, and I didn't find that working for other clinics and gyms and other people was really doing that for me, when you're kind of giving away such a big commission split of my services and then not feeling like I was getting enough professional development on the other end and things like that. I kind of just took it upon myself to, like take everything that I've learned across my experiences and my jobs and package it all together and kind of do it for myself. And honestly, I'm just really enjoying the kind of progress on that end as well. Just learning how to do business, like I said, in general,
Yeah.
everything in business at the end of the day. But also figuring out where my gaps are as well.
Right.
In knowledge and creating a system that works for me more than anything. To provide a
Absolutely.
better life for my family, my girlfriend. I might eventually move back to Australia as well, so we'll see. But honestly, I'm just enjoying the process. Just
Yeah.
always learning. Yeah,
Love it. Love it, man. The process and the journey is people always focus on the destination, right? But I don't truly think there ever really is one. Like, yeah, if
I
you're hitting
agree. Yeah,
like a certain income goal or a certain like thing with your, health or, physique or whatever, cool. Um, but at the end of the day, the journey and the process is really what's the most enjoyable thing about it. Because without the process, you won't ever get to the destination if you have one, right?
absolutely.
So,
Agreed.
yeah, I know it hasn't really been since what last January since you've really went pretty much all in on everything, right?
Yeah,
I mean, no path is easy. Doesn't matter what it is, business, health, fitness, anything. Uh,
yeah.
what were some of the biggest struggles early on? And like what challenges do you still face today as you grow your business?
I would say for me, probably time management is probably the biggest thing, the biggest challenge, profession wise, because I think in the health and fitness industry in general, if you're the people that you're servicing, you're working kind of around the 9 to 5. So you're working very early. So I'll start at like 6 a.m. But then I'll also see people after their 5 o'clock job. So appointments kind of spread out throughout the day and stuff. So it's a long day.
Yeah.
But if I'm having appointment times in between as well, I don't really get the time to kind of sit down and kind of just focus on what I need to do because I'm kind of like, by the time you settle down and kind of get to work, you have to go and see another patient or a client. So time management, I think, is a really big thing for me in terms of trying to how I structure my day and my schedule and my week, so I can actually still execute on the things that I need to do,
Yeah.
but still be able to kind of like treat people in a traditional like gym or clinic setting at the same time.
Of course.
So I think it's kind of finding that balance where I can still make progress.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's honestly probably the biggest challenge for me right now because it's great. I'm growing at my in-person location where I'm, seeing a lot of people throughout the day, but then it means it's just I don't get the time to work on my app. It gets pushed back even further.
Yeah.
I can't do the marketing and the content to push that as well. So bit of a
Yeah.
balancing act. Yeah.
So you feel like a lot of the time management is not only the in-person stuff because of people with their 9 to 5s or the times they get off and what you're doing, but also having time to sit down and work on the tech stuff pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I see that a lot with people that have in-person plus online stuff, whether it's programs, apps, like, certain people that are trainers. Somebody in my town is actually kind of dealing with that right now. And I'm in talks with them about, just about this and that. And it's really hard to manage everything at once,
Yeah.
right? Especially when you have, your app that you're doing. Most people don't even think of an app. They just think of a website, right?
Right.
You already have your website, you're doing an app, you're doing in-person stuff, plus your personal life. It's like a whole jungle gym of different things, which I understand for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of noise in every industry, especially the health and fitness, whether it's
Mhm.
people putting on a facade about things, being fake, or people not teaching the right information or teaching basic information. What's your unique angle and how do you stand out from the crowd?
So at this point, because everyone's able to post stuff on social media, you're going to really just see so many different iterations and versions of people's ideas of fitness and rehab. And so, of course, there's always going to be that misinformation. People are just coming from different backgrounds and stuff. And I would say it's something that I really used to like kind of struggle with before, in the sense that I would look at someone's content and be like, that's so wrong. I disagree with that, all these things and stuff. But at the end of the day, I felt like I couldn't really, it really didn't matter because it's not like I was posting content to combat that or educate people why, a different perspective or a different strategy might work. So that's why I kind of went all in. And even now, I still haven't really been able to push a lot of content yet, or like, because I want to deliver everything through the app necessarily. But um, yeah, I think we're at a point where everyone has an opportunity to kind of open their own business and work with people and stuff. So I think it's just a matter of kind of putting out the work that you believe in, the things that you can stand behind and be able to justify that online. And it's the same stuff that you'd be telling people in person anyways, and just you're able to do that online and being able to and being satisfied with that. Because I think there's always going to be people online that you disagree with on a certain topic, and so I think having that kind of discourse online is actually a good thing, where the people that relate to you and your content's resonating with, those are the people that you can eventually start working with and hopefully help in their daily lives and stuff.
Yeah, I love it for sure. Yeah, there's people online, like you said, who may disagree with you at first, but maybe if they just see more of your, real content or, what you guys actually do,
Yeah,
just showing your authentic self, maybe they'll, convert to like trying to, want help from you, and
yeah,
if they don't, all the best to them. We're always going to have people who disagree with us, and that's fine. Uh,
yeah,
but as long as we're, you know, teaching what we believe is right and we know is right that could help people, that's all that
yeah,
matters because we could draw our specific audience, right?
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
demographic. So love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love for you to share a story, right? Well, this could be like
Okay.
a client, a project where you saw either like a real breakthrough for somebody or like somebody achieved like a massive goal, to where this was like a real like breakthrough for them or even you to just motivate you to keep going.
Absolutely. So there's a particular case, I would say, in Australia, in my first real physio clinic job, outpatient musculoskeletal clinic. Really proud of this one because this particular client started off a little bit more challenging, like was really kind of a little bit more apprehensive, I guess, to the approach in a way. And like they've tried so many different like coaches and clinicians before and didn't really have any progress necessarily. So this person was someone that was, I think, was a single parent essentially, taking care of their kids, also taking care of their parents as well, like really high stress. Um, and basically like really had no time for herself essentially.
Yeah.
Of course, like as people working in health and fitness, we're always an advocate of exercise and lifestyle management and nutrition and good sleep and all these things. But I'm really proud of this one because I really helped her kind of just talk through it. She just really needed like support more than anything, and kind of identifying like, I thought it was really important that she carved out time for herself. I was like, even if you're giving yourself like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or like, what do you enjoy doing? Um, and her answer was that she really just like really liked going to this certain park that was like close to her house. She felt like it was the only time that she ever felt like she got any sense of like, I guess, relief or could de-stress and not really think about everything else without taking too much time out of her day, essentially. And so I was really proud of this one because she was someone that I helped in a kind of like a non-physio coaching training context where I didn't prescribe her any exercise. I was like, you know what? I want you to really prioritize kind of like getting to that park every single day. It's something for yourself. You're doing so many things for your family and your kids. And it's a lot of stress and there's a lot of burden that kind of comes with that and as well. And I really highlighted that, you really can't take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself as well.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, she started off a little bit more like kind of reluctant to it and stuff, but after kind of giving her a couple weeks and executing on that, she felt a lot better just mentally. It kind of translates to the physical side as well in terms of pain management and stuff. And yeah, and then those are the people that really buy into you probably the most once you could overcome like a really big challenge like that, because they see and they feel the impact that 10, 15 minutes can make, even outside of exercise and rehab and stuff. So really proud of that one. Yeah,
That's awesome. I love to hear that. That's great. I know your main thing is like you know, putting people on certain workouts or exercises and helping them. But you focusing on the mental aspect as well is really what makes you like that could set you apart from the rest as well. Kind of like my question a
100%.
minute ago. I feel like
Yeah,
enough people focus on the mentality of it,
yeah,
right? If you
yeah.
don't, do you feel like maybe you told her like, hey, find something that you could do with yourself that allows you to breathe so that she's able to go back to the life that, is stressing her out. She's able to deal with it better. That's what it sounds like.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sorry, go ahead, go.
I was gonna say, like, just kind of for anybody watching, like somebody watching right now who's dealing with like a similar thing, right?
Yeah,
Um, what would be your main advice, like main piece of advice to them just to keep going, no matter what they're dealing with?
yeah. I think you really just kind of need to find the easiest entry point into kind of whatever you're trying to get back into, no matter how small. Like I said, a lot of times people are coming to us with like musculoskeletal injuries or athletic injuries where they're trying to get back to something physical. But it can even start with something as simple as like just 5, 10 minutes of, a different strategy of, doing something that you enjoy or something that helps you deal with any like the problem that you're having, whether it's in pain, like physical pain, whether it's mental stress, whether it's, whatever it is, like the health and fitness industry is so vast, right? Whatever you're trying to achieve, essentially, break it down into a step or an action that's manageable. It's something that you can consistently get done because I think that consistency is the thing that kind of will allow you to kind of build upon that to get you back to where you want to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just thought, yeah, I just thought I'd ask that because I know, I mean, even including
It's a great
myself,
question. Yeah,
and everybody watching, we all think sometimes like, hey, how can we get through certain things without just doing the thing? It's
yeah,
uh it's rough sometimes, and obviously you've experienced that with
Of
maybe
course,
yourself or clients or whoever. But I'm
of
glad you shared
course.
that for sure. So, uh,
Yeah.
what's the vision over the next? I mean, I know the app and all that stuff, but what's the
Mhm.
vision looking ahead, like 6, 9, 12 months from now? Like, where do you want to take things next?
Yeah. I basically want to create more of like a brand or like a marketing agency, I guess, for like um, health professionals or physios like myself. I think the traditional model of clinicians just working kind of like in a typical clinic, small gym space or room or whatever it is, it's just kind of like an outdated model. As a profession, we're growing all the time. We need to be able to adjust to the digital age and AI and technology and all these different things. And I think essentially like the profession, you kind of get left behind or you're not necessarily happy with the situation that you're in unless you're able to kind of adapt things and do the things that you want. I think with me starting the business for me, yes, it's a lot of work and there's so many things that you kind of need to do. But on the other end of it, I have a lot more flexibility in my schedule. I have a little bit more time to actually spend with my patients and my clients. I'm earning more. I can spend more time with my girlfriend and my dog. And those things are the little things that keep me going. Um, but also just having the time to learn and upskill and yeah, and I think it's really important. We all want that sense of progress, and I think when you're not achieving that, in your day-to-day career and stuff, it can get a little tough sometimes, mentally, physically. For me, where I was before, I was working in like 2, 3 clinics. I was working 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. straight. Barely had time to like work out. Barely had
Yeah.
time for lunch.
Yeah.
And I was like, how am I supposed to do? Like, I was really maximizing what I could earn, but it wasn't sustainable. I was like, I don't know if I could do this for the next like 20, 30 years. I could barely do it for like a couple months, right? So that's kind of when I had that kind of when I really went all in, where I was like, I got to try it out for myself. If it doesn't work, that's fine. The traditional model's always there. I can always go back to that. But I don't want to say like I didn't try, and once I've tried it and seeing what's on the other end now, like there's so much to learn. There are so many things, that I think other clinics and gyms don't do very well. I think they could adapt and I think they could do
Oh, yeah.
better. And I'm trying to figure it out for myself. And once I can figure that out for myself, then hopefully I can help other coaches achieve that for themselves. I think I can provide more value to my patients as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the
Yeah.
vision.
For sure. I love it. Yeah, just scaling and expanding and doing what you're doing now, just at more volume, you know.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, like first of all, congrats on your success. That's great knowing that you
Thank
have
you, man.
more time for the things that you actually love, and not
Yeah.
saying you didn't love being, doing the 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. or whatever it was, but I mean,
I can
obviously,
confidently say I didn't love it. I can say that on
yeah, see,
record, no
that's what I
problem.
was getting at. Like, you're like, oh, 25, 30 years. It's hard for me to even do this for 6 months.
Exactly.
It's like if that was your only only option, then it's like yeah, you would do it. But
Yeah,
at the same time, there's something else you could do, which could be start your own business. You know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, hypothetically, like obviously talking about future stuff and all that. If you had I like to ask everybody this, business owners, entrepreneurs, if you had like a magic wand, right, for one specific thing in your business or even multiple that this magic
hmm
wand could fix,
hmm
what would that magic wand do, and like what would it fix?
Wow, that's a great question. For me personally, I would say I would need a lot of back-end integration stuff. And what I mean by that is like my tech stack is now growing quite a bit. Like obviously like working with an app, different softwares, but also just learning about like data collection and client retention and stuff. And there's so much information and data. It's not my area of expertise.
Yeah.
So having something that can basically connect everything where I have and create the system where, I'm trying to figure it out right now, but if I could fix all that where, I can basically just work with people, I can just train them and treat, and I don't have to worry about the back end stuff. I think that's basically where a lot of my time is spent because I don't, like I said, I'm still learning it, but basically what I'm doing in the background is I'm trying to connect like let's say all the results that people are inputting into the app, like all their exercise rehab stuff, that data is being sent to another like database.
Yeah.
And it's like an endless collection of like this person's information on this person. It's like a running timeline. And if I'm working, luckily enough to be working with someone across like a extended period of time, or hopefully like like lifetime, you're seeing that person's progress like throughout the years. I think online in general, you're working with so much different marketing, and there's all this marketing tactics, and people, you can really see who's really just kind of trying to make a quick sale versus also being able to deliver like a high quality product. And
Yeah.
essentially in health and fitness, the only outcome here is like just better health, right? Like
Yeah.
stronger, healthier, longevity, like, such a growing field now. But like exercise is exercise. It's not changing a whole ton, right? And that's where kind of this breakdown comes in, where people are starting to make stuff up because they want to be different. They want to be novel. They want to stand out in some sort of way. But if it's not really kind of upholding the test of time, where we're losing the strength conditioning principles or rehab principles, now you're kind of like turning into a little bit of a scam. You're just trying to make money for the sake of money, making money, when you know that
Yeah.
it's not necessarily providing value to that person. So I want to be able to have a system that can just deliver high quality like strength conditioning, nutrition, the education behind like pain neuroscience, all the things that I kind of do day to day, but having the system there,
Yeah.
but also having the AI stuff just set up for me because I don't know how to do it. I'm not really good at it.
Yeah. No,
So that'd be great. If you find that
yeah.
one, let me know.
Yeah. For sure, man. Yeah. I mean, that's what I see a lot. Like going back to earlier, like the people have in-person stuff, they have online stuff, but the online stuff is like good, but it could be way better. And it's like,
Yeah,
okay. And then most people end up throwing the online stuff out the door because they just
yeah,
focus on in-person. And then
yeah,
what slowly happens and they don't even realize is like for your instance, right? Let's say that you just never tried to find help from anybody with like the back end stuff, right?
right.
You would then start to focus more on the in-person because you'd get so confused with the online stuff. And then you'd slowly transition back to doing what you were doing like from like 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Right.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
I tell people, I'm like, listen, the point of starting your own business or actually being a coach or helping people is to, yes, help other people as much as possible. You're not just in it for the money, but you started this so you could get out of that past life,
Yeah,
right? So,
100%.
but people, they're too, I wouldn't say egotistical, but there are some people, especially uh, more elders in the space that are like, 40, 50, 60s doing health and fitness. Oh, that online garbage. Hey man, you're gonna have to adapt. You know what I mean? Um,
100%.
if people don't know it until it's
It's
last.
changing very quickly. It changes
Yeah,
really quickly. You got to be able
yeah,
to adapt like 1 year
yeah,
at a time, for sure.
very quickly. Because what happens is they start the business, they try to online stuff, they throw it in the trash can, although it's like growing mold in the trash can, even though, that's a healthy mold. It's just like it's just growing as an example. And then they're doing the in-person stuff when they have their own business, but they're working a 9 to 5 for themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all it is. But I like to do a quick fire round with everybody.
cool.
Like just asking like, what's your favorite, I don't know, book or podcast?
Podcast is definitely the game. Alex Ramosi. I'm sure every entrepreneur knows Alex Ramosi.
Yeah,
Tons of wisdom in there. And even though like some of it can get redundant, you're always kind of just looking for that 1% thing that you might do differently, or like change your decision-making process, right?
right.
So that's definitely probably the best podcast that I spend the most time listening to. Favorite book that I most recently read was The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Um, Really, really good perspective on just like working towards financial freedom overall, I think, and kind of what that journey is like. Obviously, a really successful like angel investor type of thing, and just investing in people and businesses and everything like that. At the end of the day, we all want, high returns on investment, on our time, on our money, on our effort. So I think that book was a nice short read, but put things into perspective for me. I'd say the first person that kind of got me into that kind of like business leadership mindset was Simon Sinek. I really liked his books. Start with
Yeah,
Why, Leaders Eat Last. Like be understanding that there's a lot of things that you need to do on your end to provide value to other people. Like you got to make sure you're taking care of people first. You're providing value for people or providing jobs for people before before your take home pay. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
but that's where you can start to make a lot of earn a lot as well, because you're able to deliver so much value to people. So
yeah, of course.
yeah.
Love it. Next question. Uh, let's see here. a myth. What's like the biggest myth you'd love to bust that's like in the health and fitness industry?
Health and fitness. Okay. Let's go with the rehab one.
Okay.
I would say I think obviously when people come to see a physio, we give people exercises all the time, right? Of course, like we
Right.
want to strengthen everything like that.
Right.
I would say a myth is sometimes the strength isn't always the thing that's getting you better. Even the strongest people in the world have pain and they need rehab and things like that. And so a lot of times just the art of kind of breaking things down and being able to regress things or modify things to a point that's tolerable and building that back up is kind of what we do in a physio or rehab setting. It's not always like, okay, we just need to get things stronger. Yes,
Mhm.
strength is important in the context of like performance and strength and training, but on the rehab side of things, because I spend a lot of time kind of bridging the two, is it's not always just about the strength. Just because I get you as strong as possible or stronger than whatever, like relative to other people or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like we're trying to get people better and get them out of pain. And a lot of times it's just being able to do the movement pain free and breaking it down to a point that they can tolerate. So in the sense of rehab, everything is a lot more about tolerance and sensitivity versus objective strength necessarily.
Yeah, no, that's awesome for sure. I see people thinking like, oh, I don't need this or this because I have that or that, and I'm like,
Hmm.
not necessarily. Like, it's everybody has different body types, different
Hmm.
injuries for sake. And like you said, it's like it doesn't matter how like strong of a person you are or like your pain tolerance. We're all human. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah.
and knowing how to understand that is the first step, I think.
Yeah.
So if people come to the
Agreed.
realization of understanding that, you know, you can get help. You're gonna have pain eventually. Like if you don't now, you will sometime, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and like we're all human, so yeah, I like that for sure. That's good. I see that in like basketball too. People think, oh, I'm a point guard, so I don't need to work on stuff that like centers work on. I'm like, well, there's certain things that you do. It's like it's at the end of the day, it's basketball. It's not
Hmm.
just point guard or center or power forward. The different positions. Uh,
Yeah.
like, what if you're in their spot when they're out or something? Like, you need to like, try to get there. But I would hope I don't have a 6 foot guard filling a 7 foot center's role, but you know what I mean. You still need to work on
Of
the
course.
footwork and the conditioning and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
100%. 100%.
Before we wrap everything up, where can people follow your work, learn more, or connect with you even?
Yeah. So on Instagram, obviously Elite Movement, or www.elitemovement.com. Movement is spelled MVMT. People kind of get that mixed up and stuff, so that's how you spell it. And you can basically find that across all social media like that. I wouldn't say I have like a that much of an online presence yet. Like I said, I'm just spending a lot of time in person, but slowly getting there. Slowly getting there. Once I start to release the app and pushing the digital stuff, and hopefully I have a little more time to go a bit more online.
Yeah, for sure. And for the audience right now, I will put his stuff in the description so you can check that out. But
Perfect.
Brandon, if a listener takes one action from today's conversation, what should
Yeah.
it be?
Um, just don't be afraid to try things. Honestly, I think that we're all so afraid to like fail or be embarrassed or fail publicly and things like that. Like we don't have all the answers. You're not going to get it always right off the first attempt. Like there's so many things to learn along the way. About the system itself and technical things, but also like how you process things and you know it's like a never-ending project. You're always learning. There's always ways that we can do things better, or things are always changing. So, being able to adapt to that. So just don't be afraid to try things. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
it. Keep
awesome.
it simple.
Yeah, you heard it, everybody. Don't be afraid to try things. But
Exactly.
once again, thanks for getting on, Brandon. It's been awesome. I got
Thanks for
some,
having me
I
on.
got, I got some great takeaways. I'm sure everybody else will as well. But for everyone else, thanks for watching Vorello Vision. I'll see you guys on the next episode.